Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Into the Red Rabbit Hole podcast. I'm your host, Nighthawk, and I'll be playing your favorite tunes. No, it's not one of them kind of a broadcast. I'm not going to be playing anybody's favorites tonight. So, without further ado, let's get into the thick of the announcements, and then we'll get into the meat of the conversation, which I believe tonight's topic is the Black Knight Satellite. Sounds like an old 50s song, huh? Anyways, copyright disclaimer. This channel may use some copyrighted materials without the specific authorization of the owner because it constitutes Fair Use Act of 1976, which makes allowances for purposes of criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, parody, research, and any other things that we can think of. Anyways, we fall under the Fair Use Act of 1976, so put that in your book. Alrighty then, let's get into it. All right. We have coming on here soon our brother from the Texas mother, from down under there in the good old southern part of the USA, Southwest, Mr. Carlito Castro. And we got Dennis Carroll coming on. So they'll be on soon, everybody. I do want to make a couple announcements, a couple thank yous out there. To Lene and Gerald and Jane, I want to thank you all for your kindness towards Jacob. You all were able to find him dog food that we were unable to find locally. And you had it here to the house, and that really meant a lot to us, let me tell you. And Jacob appreciates that because that's the only kind of food he'll eat. Because he had a cyst on his lower jaw. He had 10 teeth removed, had to open up his jawbone and scrape out the cyst and all that. And an arm and a leg later, he was diagnosed with having to eat soft food the rest of his life, and because his jawbone grew around the cyst. So he has a weak jawbone, so he can't even have like hard dog biscuits or anything. So that's why it was so vital that we try to find that food. And I want to thank Lene and Gerald and Jane for their awesome stepping up and finding us that food, man. That means a lot to us. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Corey Cole. Corey is an awesome brother. And he did some artwork for me on a piece of wood that basically is the most awesome design that I can think of that encompasses everything that I stand for. And it even, if you look at it, it even looks like a Sasquatch face on the design. And here, let me see if I can, I don't want you all to see me because I'm a mess. Anyways, let me see here. Let me pull this up here. Get this off of here, this disclaimer off of here. Okay, do I know what I'm doing? Heck no. Okay. All right, there I am, all hairy. Okay, anyways, let me turn the camera on. Now, I want you all to look at this. Take a good look at it. Now, doesn't that look like a face? Honestly. The hands make the eye. Elongated triangles make the nose. The third eye. The lightning bolts make the eyebrows. The bow makes the mouth. And even the crossed arrows makes my goatee or Sasquatch hair. One of the two. So, yeah, that kind of looks like me. I'll hold that the whole thing and talk to you guys, okay? So, but yeah, I think that's awesome. So Corey, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I want to wish everybody a born today, this day in history. Whether you're 0 to 196, happy birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary. Okay. Um, Got to get those pleasantries out of the way so we can get into the show. Now we're still waiting on Carlito to come on, but I suppose he's getting off of work, so he may be a few minutes late. Anyways, the Black Knight satellite. Let's see if we can bring Dennis on and see if he knows anything about the Black Knight satellite. Because to be honest with you, I really don't know that much about it. I mean, I know it's up there. I know that it's what my theories are on it, which is basically just my random thoughts of weird. So, anyways, let me bring Dennis on and we'll get his insight into it. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. I'm having a rough night.
Yeah, I hear you. I was seeing, looking at this picture there. I think you need to shave, William.
Yeah. My goatee's getting a little thick on that picture, huh?
Yeah, oh, it's thick. Of course, I think I need to shave a little bit too, come think of it.
I
Black
think,
Knight Satellite. Black
yeah,
Knight Satellite.
yeah.
I'm going to tell you something about that, okay? I've done a lot of research on the Black Knight Satellite. Fascinating subject. It's not there, according to NASA and the United States government. It doesn't really exist. It's not up there. But some people, and I've even talked to a guy that actually tracked it with a telescope, supposedly, one night. It is a weird shaped looking object. And according to the legend, it's been up there that we know of since the 1950s. Sputnik and all that stuff. And according to legend, and I'll shut up. According to legend, it is something left behind by the Anunnaki to monitor this planet. And I thought I'd throw that out there for you.
Huh. Well, that's interesting because my whole theory on the whole Black Knight satellite thing. Good evening, Carlito. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, guys? Good. How you doing, man? How you doing, William? How you doing, Dennis? Everybody in the chat, how you guys doing?
Well, we were just getting into the thick of it.
Yeah.
Just talking about it, and I really don't know that much about the subject. So that's why I'm leaving it up to you and Dennis tonight to bring on the info. But my theory on it, from what I've seen and what I've read and all that, is that I think that satellite is there to monitor our progress, definitely. And I think it's always been there. I think it's always been there. I mean, literally since the beginning of man's time, mankind's time on Earth.
Well, like I was saying, I'm going to repeat this for Carlito. There is a theory, and supposedly we've known scientifically about the Black Knight satellite since the 1950s. But there are supposedly some reports that go back further than that, with some of the very first telescopes and stuff that came out, actually. I talked to a man one time, by the way, Carlito, that actually said he tracked the Black Knight satellite with a telescope. But it's a very weird shaped object, and like I say, the theory is, and I'm gonna throw this out there and let you run with it. The theory is that it was left behind by the Anunnaki ages and ages ago to monitor this planet and us for their eventual return. Supposedly, that's one theory on it. But NASA and and the United States government and most of the governments will say it does not exist. It is not up there. So there you go. I'm gonna throw that in your ball field there, sir.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. And I do agree with that, Dennis. Yeah, I mentioned you're correct on that. Um, about the Anunnaki. And yeah, I think it's been here. If it is in fact real, because then we tend to contradict ourselves with the space theory, right? That that nobody's ever been to space before, like we have in the past. But if there is a space, and if there is that international space station, and if there is that Black Knight satellite, then I believe it's been there for thousands and thousands of years, man, including maybe even more longer than what we know about the Anunnaki. Now, I did a little bit of research on it, just to brush up, and it was first spotted in 1989 by the International Space Station. They had a mission up there at that time, and they were just panning, they were panning their camera when they spotted it. And first they spotted it like in pitch darkness, so it was blending in really really well. As to then later they got the supposed picture of it, like William has it up right now with where you can see the blue in the back. So I'm guessing they had to get a lot closer, and at a different angle where you could see the color behind it. You know what I mean? Because if you weren't at that angle, you would see it in pitch black, and you'd see just like a couple of specks and lights or what have you. But yeah, that's the whole theory on that they discovered it, the ISS, International Space Station, in 1989.
Now, how do we know? How do we know, guys, that that's not part of Reagan's Star Wars type of a project that he put in the 1980s? He started to protect our planet from alien invasion.
Well, that's a very good point, because we don't know if it is in fact real or not. Maybe they can even just have like we say, the edit with computer programming, edit. You know what I mean? So I mean, who really knows? We really don't know. All we know is what we researched on it, but that's it. We really can't confirm anything that's really out there. And of course, the government or NASA is denying the whole thing now. You know what I mean? When supposedly they're the ones that found it in the ISS in '89. So yeah, go figure.
I've heard that there's even some evidence that the Mayans and the Aztecs may have known about it. That it has been found on some of their star charts that they had. That's an interesting thing. But when you look at it, Carlito, look at it the right way. And I like that second picture you had up there. It looks like a spaceship more than a satellite, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, I agree. It does. It does look like a spaceship. And supposedly it was there to monitor the Earth. And it's been up there for thousands of years, supposedly monitoring the Earth. But then again, nothing lasts forever. I don't think anything lasts forever. So if it is a spacecraft, I think it was just there at the time. Because you can even see, if you look at it real good, especially the picture on the right side, you can see like a little bubbly kind of window thingy, or, on the very center, top center, right?
Maybe that's R2D2.
Yeah. So I think if that is a spaceship, then that would be like their kind of canopy type window thingy, whatever, and the front would be the left side where it dips down into like a arrow kind of. So yeah, it does. I agree with you, Dennis, on that. It does look like a spaceship, but they want to call it a satellite because it orbits the Earth, and it's been there for many, many years.
Well, it's supposedly in an orbit, and it is that's like a satellite would be. But I'm just going way out there with this, and that looks kind of like a dome. like the canopy on a fighter plane in a way.
Right. Right.
Uh, uh, but I'll put this out there. What if it is a spaceship, and what if there are beings in suspended animation on this ship, waiting for something? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's another thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, not to interrupt, but to me, it looks almost like the canopy turret on a tank, the way it's designed.
Right. Right.
So what's to say it's not a weapon?
Right.
Yeah, that's very much like I said. It reminds me of the canopy on a fighter jet, the way they are. To me, if you get it at the right angle, it definitely looks more like a spaceship than anything I would call satellite. But
Right.
it got the satellite moniker because of the way it rotates around the Earth and all that. But all
Mm-hmm.
spaceships do that. I mean, you got to go in orbit over something before you land or something. But it just makes me wonder if maybe if there were beings on it, they would be in suspended animation for a reason. You know, if you go on extended long-term space travel, you gotta look at suspended animation because you're not going to live long enough, from point A to point B. You would have to be suspended somehow or another, whether it's frozen or in a gas or whatever the situation is. I just wonder maybe. Now here's my thoughts. Okay, what if it's a spaceship and they're suspended in animation somehow or another it got caught in the orbit of the Earth? You know. But here's one more thought about that. Okay, satellites stay up there because they're put and kept in a certain orbit. That orbit doesn't deteriorate, or eventually they would fall and burn up. So that's why they call it satellite. It has that attribute to it, of that orbiting type thing. But what if it is a spaceship, not a satellite? That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And another thing too that I looked up to see if there was any what are they called, petroglyphs or whatever, like cave drawings where they draw it on stone to see if maybe any type of ancient civilizations might have seen it before us, and and drew it on a stone cave, right? And no, I couldn't find anything on it, man. I could, because you know how ancient civilizations supposedly, and I do believe that is true, that ancient civilizations before us, before the resets, before the Great Flood, they already had more advanced technology than we have now. I don't know if you guys know that, but so they, and I believe that's how they built the UFOs, because they had, I mean, not the UFO, the pyramids, because they had a lot more advanced technology than we do, and it just vanished out of nowhere, right? And it vanished with them. They vanished, and that technology vanished. So what's to say that they saw it first and they drew it somewhere in some cave somewhere, or stone or rock or whatever have you, and that proves that that's been here for thousands of years, even though I couldn't find the article or picture anywhere. But it could be, that could be a possibility too.
Yeah, here's another thought too, Carlito. What if it's not any satellite or ship? Maybe it's some kind of transponder of some sort that the aliens already on our planet use to communicate the far reaches of wherever it is they came from, or their base, wherever it may be on the moon. What if some kind of transponder that they bounce signals off of? I just wonder if anybody's ever tried to pick up any kind of a signal from that. It makes you wonder.
Right. Well, I heard a story one time, and this was just a story. I can't remember exactly where I heard it, but there was supposedly sending signals, kind of like the movie Contact. You guys remember that, right? They were sending signals out to outer space, and they said that they got one signal back where these beings were communicating back with the Earth's signal, saying that they were from another planet nearby, I can't remember which one if they did say, but they said that they were like a reptilian type people walking on two legs. They had evolutionized from a reptile, supposedly, and that they had everything the same as we do now, but they weren't human looking. They were reptile looking, walking on two legs. So that's how did we get that signal? How did we pick that up? How did that transcribe or get caught in our signal? I don't know. Could have been a satellite, like you said, Dennis. I mean, it could have been an alien satellite for that matter. So
Definitely, and of course, satellites can act as transponders too. By the way, for that purpose as well. But if they're on some kind of alien frequency, we might not be picking it up. You know what I'm saying? We might not be able to hear it or whatever. If that's what it's truly doing, it has to. What we're talking about tonight is why we know we're pretty well sure it's there, but why is it there? What is it really?
Mm-hmm.
And who put it there? That's the main question.
Yeah, well, that's the $1 million mystery. Yeah. What is it doing there? Where did it come from? Who put it there? And what is it exactly? 'Cause we can speculate all day what it could be. To me, it kind of looks like a mothership. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here's another thing that bothers me. If it's there, what reason is it there for? I mean, what's it up to? Mm-hmm. And what does that have to do with us? I mean, it sounds like it has a very sinister spin to it there.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good. You leave something like that up there for a purpose. Right. It doesn't sound like it would be a good purpose, I don't think. Here's another thing, okay, and we can look at it this way. We may be wrong about it being aliens, extraterrestrial aliens. It could be interterrestrial. It could have been left there by some underground civilization eons ago. It could have been part of their space program, from many years ago. There are a lot of theories, Carlito, that the Earth has seen many civilizations rise and fall before recorded history, and this could be a relic from one of those, like from Atlantis or someplace like that. It could be left over. That's another thought.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And like I said, we don't know about past civilizations, how far advanced they got. You know what I mean? Where that could have been something left by them. And now it's just a dud. Just out there, just floating through space with no mission, no anything.
Here's another thought. Here's another thought too, guys. What if it's like the aliens a fail-safe mechanism?
We lost your audio there, William. Could you repeat that?
Okay. What if it's like a fail-safe? What if it's like pushing the eject button for our planet? What if it's like they push one button on their end and our planet gets obliterated within a billion trillion pieces because they don't like what they see?
Do you mean, William, by that? Do you mean some type of smart bomb?
No, I mean
they can just activate it and just blow up the world, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's some type of a smart device that could possibly be linked to alien technology. That if they didn't like the way we were going, like say with our nuclear program, and all of our stupidity as far as fighting each other and having all these wars, and killing each other. Why wouldn't they have a failsafe to where they could just blow the hell out of us?
Or it's a reset button, you might say. They push the reset button, start over again.
Yeah, exactly. Like we know that has happened before. The Great Flood. That's a perfect example. And even well, the Great Flood was back in like biblical days, and then later on, I think there was another one, which is when the Egyptians, Anubis, their god Anubis, the Trojans from Italy and all that, all that got wiped out again and started again and started new again. I think that there has been multiple resets. I really do. I really believe they have. And not just but I think that maybe there will be another one soon if we keep going the way we're going with the wars and trying to bomb each other and all that. Like I mentioned one time before, I can't remember where, but you guys, I don't know if you ever seen that movie, The Abyss, where the aliens help the guy when he's drowning, or yeah, he's about to drown and die, and beautiful, manta ray looking alien comes out of nowhere, picks him up, takes him to the ship, and he shows them through projection. He shows them all the wars and all that's going on, and they tell him like that's not good. That's not good for. And he's kind of like guessing what he's trying to tell him. He's like, oh, the wars. You mean you don't want us to have wars anymore? You don't want us to destroy our Earth? Is that what it is? And the alien was just like, yeah. So, if it comes to that, I think there really is going to be one, and that's what everybody likes to call the end of days. Some people call it, apocalypse or whatever. But I think if we keep pushing, if we could keep pushing the wrong buttons, I think we're going to get to that again. Maybe not in our lifetime, but say maybe 50, 100, maybe 1,000 years from now. I really do think that might happen again if we continue the way we are, and if we don't, take care of our planet, said planet or world or whatever you want to call it, then I think that's where we're heading.
Well, another thought. I'm just thinking about what you're talking there. It kind of made me think about this. What if the black light satellite is sort of a star key? That it's something they use to manipulate portals or wormholes for a lot of this UFO activity that we see. In other words, here's what I've always thought. Okay, Carlito, I'm going to throw this at you. It makes perfect sense not to travel interstellar, travel with ships that travel that distance. It makes more sense to go through wormholes or portals, whatever name you want to give them, to travel that way. That cuts down on your time and everything else. You know what I'm saying? That transcends time and space. You've manipulated then. You're mastering it. I think if alien races are out there and they're so much more advanced than we are, that's the way they're going to travel. So what if this thing opens these wormholes or gateways or whatever for them to come through with? That's another possibility of why it's there. And that's why I think sometimes you have to look at this. It may be tied directly to all the UFO activity that we have going on, most all of it. That are, matter of fact, I saw just today on Fox News where they have actually got some footage of the same type of UFO that I saw, the black triangle ship, and this one had lights. Now, the one I see, it was in daytime, it didn't have lights on it. But you need to look at that if you get a chance to go and take a look at it. It's a fascinating thing. But anyway, what if that's the connection? You know what I'm saying? That it's a star key. It sort of opens the gateways for them. When they need. That's a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that makes sense. That makes complete sense what you're saying, Dennis. And I think, I mean, yeah, like you said, it has to, be some type of bind between that thing, if it is real, like I said, with all the UFO activity that we've been getting throughout the years. And it's really been getting a lot hotter now. I don't know if you guys, noticed that there's like tons of videos of supposed UFOs, people recording them on their phones while recording the buildings and everything in the background and everything. So it's like, wow, that's really hard to manipulate that into being some type of CGI or whatever. You know what I mean? Because you can see the people, the crowd, what they're saying, what they're yelling, whatever. You can see the buildings behind there. You can see the trees. You can see everything. And this thing's up in the sky, just hovering there like nothing. And then all of a sudden it just shoots up, at, I don't know, supersonic speeds. And where I'm trying to get with this is that there's a lot more sightings today than there was, say, 20, 30 years ago. And we don't know what the reason for that is, but I think there's a lot of activity going on, and that's them trying to tell us something,
Well, what I heard and what I've researched is that one of the Anunnaki years adds up to 3,600 years for us. Okay. Wow. So, what if they are just sitting there in the spaceships and they're not satellites? What if they are sitting there in the spaceships and just waiting and biding their time? Because, a year would be nothing to them, being, godlike, apparently, to where they'd be able to do whatever they please. 3,600 years to us, mankind would forget about that being up there within that time frame.
3,600 years could be 36 days to them.
Right.
And like I said earlier, what if they're in some kind of suspended animation, waiting to be awoken, on this ship to do whatever? That could be, and that's what I've said before, the very beginning of this, is that Anunnaki connection supposedly with this thing. That's how they're going to return. But they actually have gone there, they're, in a suspended sleep, awaiting the time when they're to return. Also, if they're awake on the ship, and here's another thought, they could be monitoring a lot of this UFO activity because they're part of it. You know what I'm saying? It could be their job.
Yeah, on the brush up that I was doing on the Black Knight satellite, they mentioned something that the Black Knight has some type of tie or connection with Tesla. I don't know if you guys knew that, with Nikola Tesla, the great inventor. And it has to do with him and his what was it, energy tower that he made, the wireless energy. It has something to do with that. It has some type of tie to Tesla. So I don't know if maybe Tesla knew about this Black Knight satellite and took that to his advantage somehow to make whatever inventions he made. Well, besides the theory that Tesla used to have dreams, and through his dreams is where aliens or whatever these beings are would give him all the ideas to make his inventions. When he wake up, he write everything down just to remember. But they were communicating with him through dreams, where he would just wake up and know all these things, how to do all these things, and he'd write it down, and they go about doing it, and it would work, Because, an inventor, he tries and tries and tries and fails and fails and fails until he gets it right. But no, Tesla was like a chosen one from these extraterrestrials or interdimensional, whatever you want to call them, beings through his dreams, where they actually, I say chosen one because they chose him so he can get the information out to humanity, but he was taken for granted. He was labeled crazy, basically. And then they stole all his ideas and used only the ideas they wanted to, because how was there going to be free endless energy? How were we going to get free energy? Oh no, that's not going to work. They needed to charge us for all the fossil type combustion or to keep everything running. And we could have been had that wireless energy, endless energy at that for thousands or for hundreds of years now, and we don't.
I've been labeled crazy. And another theory is that the Nazis may have put this thing up there. Have you heard that?
Yes, I heard that
Might have been
too.
a
Yes, the
Nazi.
Nazis. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because the Nazis had some special type of bondage with the aliens. I don't know if you guys remember that. Ever since there's stories, there's pictures, there's videos, there's movies about it. About Hitler having some type of communication with the aliens and gaining advanced technology from them.
So what do you think? It's the Fourth Reich?
Man, I don't know. There's just so many possibilities.
Well, are you guys familiar with the Shaver mystery? You ever heard of that?
The what?
The Shaver mystery goes back a good to the I think 30s, 40s it appeared in the 1930s and 40s, and it was put out by a guy named Shaver. I can't think of his first name. Anyway, a lot of the tabloids picked it up. Then they weren't tabloids; they were mystery magazines and all that. But he claimed that he had information and he had heard conversations of an underground civilization, and it was peopled by a race called the Darrows, and they were sort of evil. They loved to rape and torture people, eat people. They would, kidnap people and take them and do all kinds of terrible things to them in the underground. And
Wow.
supposedly they were left behind by the original race called the Terros. And the Terros actually left this planet and left it to the Darrows, and they corrupted themselves. They went bad, after the Terros left. But the Terros supposedly had a connection with other alien species, all world alien species, okay? Because all these people were Earth people, kind of say, alien, Earth races, not alien. So anyway, according to him, and this is why I brought this up. According to them, he described a very similar type of a ship that's supposed to be in orbit constantly around the Earth that the Terros left behind, and the Darrows used it for nefarious purposes to track people and do whatever the evil stuff they were doing. And they used it to bounce off telepathic signals with the mind. That's how they work. They didn't really need radio. They could use their mind.
Yeah, telepathy.
And they were very psychic beings, supposedly. But he said that this ship was up there not only to help them with their mind communication, but also it was to communicate with all world species. And what he described sounded very similar to what we call the Black Knight satellite, which is why I brought that up. They're very interesting that he got that close to it.
Wow.
Check that out if you ever get a chance. Do some research on it. It's very interesting stuff. The Shaver mysteries. But they did a serial on it, and a lot of those, I think, what they call fantasy magazine or something like that. And back in the 40s, it's very well known, very famous story. But I just thought it had that strange kind of a connection to what we're talking about today, in a way.
Yeah. Hey, where can I find that that type of the Shaver mysteries? Where can I find that, Dennis?
Well, just type in Shaver mystery, and that'll take you into what I'm talking about there.
But I mean, like maybe in Google or Reddit or.
He was actually a worker, supposed in a factory somewhere or something. And one day he picked up on the thoughts of these beings.
Wow.
And heard, and they were like in an underground cavern underneath where he was working or something like that. And that's where it all began. And he wrote in and told the story to the magazines, and they published it and all that.
All the information that he got telepathically, right?
Here's the clincher, though. He had some mental health issues, okay?
Oh.
He had some mental health issues, but That's fine. I just kind of take it with a big box of salt, okay? But
Most
he has
geniuses
some mental
do.
health issues, but it's brilliant the way it's come out. But he sold thousands and thousands of magazines off of this, so they made some big money on it. But I just thought it was very interesting all those years back before any of this, that he kind of got close to something like the Black Knight satellite. That's kind of
Right.
weird.
Right.
All right.
But
Well,
check about it. Fascinating. Read it when you get a chance.
Yeah.
here,
I'll definitely check it
here's
out.
something. Here's something I want you guys to consider too, though. And this is just from, I don't know, call it the weird side of my brain activity. Um, what if these things? There's obviously more than one of them. Okay, there's got to be. Because if you're going to have one, why not have more? If you have that technology, it would just make sense. Um, what if these things actually were created to maintain some kind of protective barrier around the flat Earth known as the firmament?
Inside or outside the dome?
They would have to be outside the dome.
Okay. As a protector. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it could be a visible force field that's covering, the outside the dome. Like you said. Yeah.
Now, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there from the weird side of my brains. So,
Right, right. Yeah. I don't see why not.
Well, that ties into the Anunnaki. If you believe in the Anunnaki that they're going to come back one day, they would leave something to safeguard this planet until they got back. And that might be possibly what that is. It may be putting up some kind of a weird force field, something like that. What do you think, Carlito?
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been said that the Anunnaki are going to come back because they are our creators. Now, where did they go? I don't know. How far did they go? I don't know. Are they right outside of our, Milky Way galaxy? I don't know. But supposedly they're supposed to come back. And that's telling you, if they're coming back, that they've been here before. And there are creators that brought us here, or maybe manipulated genes of themselves and something else, and created
right.
us. I don't know, but
Right. Well,
they're supposed to be the ones
way it goes, the way it goes, Carlito, with Nibiru is on a almost like an oval rotation between us and the sun somehow, and apparently they rotate around the Earth every 12,000 to 16,000 years.
yeah, and they're supposed to be like. Mm-hmm.
So could it be the fact that maybe it is some kind of defensive thing to where they have the firmament out there, and it's just to protect us from being obliterated by a meteor or asteroid or something, or
Absolutely.
another alien race,
Yes.
or until they return,
So
because
they return. Yeah.
they're supposed to return
Mm-hmm.
very
It could
very
be.
soon.
It could also be some type of guardian or watcher, that's been watching us for I don't know millions of years or whatever it is the time that we've been here on this earth.
I think it looks like a Lamborghini.
Well,
So maybe
Yeah.
Elon Musk got sick and tired of his second Lamborghini and got rid of it and launched it in space.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does look. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. It does look
It
like
looks
some
like
type
a
of
Lamborghini.
exotic
Yeah, it
vehicle.
does.
Yeah, especially
It
the
does.
back.
It really
The back, even the back, you can see, and it's got some type of. You know how the first Batman vehicle, kind of like that. You know how they had those little bat wings in the
Yeah,
back, kind of. That's what it
yeah,
looks like.
exactly. Exactly. It does.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely, it's got a exotic design to it.
It's
Looks
probably
like one up in the.
One of Batman's old ships that he lost. Looks like a
Now,
battleship to me.
what if it's part of this, Dennis?
Could be part of that. Definitely.
Yeah.
That could be like I say, and like I said earlier. What if it's the device to star keys, as they call them? It's to open portals or wormholes, whatever, and that's used by the secret space program for that purpose.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's funny that on this makeup here, they've got the secret space program flags as the American flag and the NASA flag.
Oh yeah, I see that on the shoulder patch and the
Yeah,
backpack. Yeah.
I don't know. I just
I don't know, guys. I just think it's ridiculous how they supposedly using, I don't know how many $billion a year, NASA, for whatever they do, and they have no concrete evidence of anything. And if anything, they're doing it in a secret space program, like you just showed us, that we don't know anything about. So why are they using that money to where they know what they're doing and nobody else knows what they're doing? So it's like, for what?
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
if you were very, very interested in the planet and the people of that planet, you had a very deep interest in it. To me, it makes perfect sense that you would leave something like that behind to monitor what you were interested in. Definitely, and I feel that to me makes more sense than anything else for that way. If it is alien, that's what it's there for.
Right. Right. Well, and that kind of ties in, William, into the deep underground base, the DUMS, deep underground base. Damn it, what's that last S for?
Deep underground military bunkers.
Military bunkers. There you go. Deep underground military bunkers. And that ties into that because you know to the secret space program, right? Where they do a lot of this, in Area 51. Let's just say that, right? Which is the main one that we all know of. There's absolutely no permission to go past their boundaries. They have, like, not military, but they got like guards. I don't know, maybe 100 yards out in all directions, where they won't let you in, and if they see that you drive up, yeah, they will go intercept you. People have tried it. There's many. Y'all can look it up. People have tried it. They get ran off. They get shot at. They get whatever. But it's a very secret place where you can't go past their signs. And they got signs everywhere. No trespassing, or you will be dealt with. So that all ties into that, and that's what we're going to get into next, about the deep underground military bases, which Area 51 is one of the biggest one. Now, do you guys want to put in your inputs on that, Dennis and William? Or I can continue. Either way. Do y'all want to put your inputs on that, Dennis?
Uh, there are supposedly these bases all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
Carlito,
Mm-hmm.
and every government has one, not just ours. And it makes perfect sense. There again, if you were gonna, get out of sight, do something secretive, you would definitely do it underground. And there's one supposedly off the Bahamas, which is an ocean area 51.
Wow.
That if you go out there in a ship, they'll turn you back with gunships. You don't come into the
Mm-hmm.
station.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Governments all over the world have these, so it's just standard. I call it standard operating procedure. for governments to have dumbs, no doubt about it. And
Right.
I think most of them are found. It's a lot easier when you think about it. It makes perfect sense again. These are found around mountainous regions too, because it's easier to tunnel through mountains and go up under mountains, make doors in them, and all this stuff. I've heard people say they've actually. I don't know if you heard these. Actually, out in some parts, I forget exactly. I think it was Nevada, somewhere in the desert of Nevada. They're out there one day, and there's like it's not a huge mountain, but it's a big, mountain, or what we call a hill, whatever they call them, mountains, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they say a door opens to the side of this mountain, you know, and just for a minute, this door's open and they close. And they're standing there like, oh, and these doors look perfectly camouflaged in this thing, And that makes sense to me. That's probably a dome there, and that would be the ideal location. You wouldn't want to build one under New York City. That would be stupid. People eventually
Yeah.
see it. It would be people uncovered. You're going to go to an out of the way place like Groom Lake in Nevada and places like that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes perfect sense. So I do believe they exist, but who knows what in God's name is going on in those places? We don't know. There's a lot of stories told about Dulce. That's the most famous one of all, Dulce. And,
Yeah, Dolce. Dolce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's Dolce. There's Area 51. There's Groom Lake. There's S2 and S4. Those are like the main hotspots.
Supposedly under Area 51, it goes deeper than just the hangars and all that. It's supposed to be so many levels up under that. So you're talking about a dome. That's a dome there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
And here's the interesting thing about Area 51. I've done a lot of research on it. I want to go out there one day and see what I can see. But anyway, they fly people in every day, in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And these planes are not like normal planes. All the windows are darkened.
Right.
So you got some weird stuff going on. A lot of questions with no answers to this place. But Dulce is my favorite because it supposedly had where they had the alien war at. That they had it out with the aliens under so many levels. They had like Dulce War 1 and 2 or something like that. And if you ever seen that documentary where the guy supposedly found a lot of stuff, and some of them I think actually died up there on this plateau where this is supposed to be situated at. But they found some evidence of it being up there and all that. So when you get into domes, you get into a whole area of the paranormal. It's all
you're
some really
talking about
freaky stuff.
Yeah, Dennis, you're talking about Phil Schneider.
Yeah, Phil Schneider. He was Phil Schneider was in Area 51 for 17 years and helped build crafts from down UFOs by reverse engineering. And he was suicided when he blew the whistle.
Yeah, he basically managed to strangle himself with the knot behind his head on a surgical hose and also when the surgical hose didn't work, it was an electrical cord. So I don't know. He kind of he strangled himself twice and did it very well.
Yeah. Yeah, he suicided himself. Really good.
Yeah.
Here's another weird connection with these domes. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are situated near Native American reservations and stuff, land, and near national parks as well. Yeah. So this is government land, a lot of it, that we're talking about here. So they feel like, I guess they can do whatever they want to in their own backyard.
Well, why not? They've been intimidating Native Americans for a couple hundred years now, so.
Yep. And you guys know that currently there's about 141 underground military bases throughout the U.S. And they have a underground train that goes Mach 2 on a monorail. This is a monorail that floats that floats 3/4 inch in the air. Like it floats. It's not even touching the thing. It just float. Magnetic. Yeah, it's about 3/4 inch, about that much. And Mach 2 speeds. That's crazy. That's close to 3,000 miles an hour.
Supposedly, Carlito, that train supposedly goes all over the world, not just another country. There's supposed to be tunnels connecting it to the whole world. But that falls in line with legends and stories and folklore that this world is honeycombed with tunnels. And if that's true, that would be the excellent way to travel, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Imagine getting from New York to I don't know, London, right? On under the ocean, supersonic train that'll get you from New York to London, say in 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. That'd be crazy.
I called you one day, Carlito, and said, let's meet in London in about an hour or two for lunch.
Yeah. Well, there's secret talk about them building such a underground or underwater train that'll take you supersonic speeds across the Atlantic Ocean into Europe in about 2 hours' time, supposedly.
That would be neat, That's a bullet train. That's why they call them bullet trains. They travel faster than the speed of a bullet on the monorail with magnetic forces, actually. But that's supposed to be secret, top secret stuff that nobody knows about. But I'm wondering, here's another thing, okay? Since we're talking about that, and this made me think about it. Look at all of those really weird. You'll do some research on this one day if you've never done it. The really weird stories and stuff that go on in subways all over the world. The reptilians that people see in these subways and all these government platforms that you're not allowed to stop at. All kind of weird crap going on in subways all over the world.
Right. I was reading that question on the screen right there, Dennis. Do you see that? It says, what about a tunnel of some sort from the Americas to Africa? Any thoughts? Have you heard anything about that, Dennis?
Well, it would make perfect sense. You could go, under the Atlantic Ocean. You could definitely go to Africa, no problem at all with that. Like I said, the whole world supposedly is honeycombed with these tunnels. And if that is true, then you would definitely utilize that. You wouldn't have to build your own tunnels. You use the ones that already existed. That maybe ancient civilizations used thousands of years ago. They're still there. There's evidence a lot of these, when you go into these domes, okay, here's another interesting fact we need to look at. They are also protected by holograms. You may look like what may look like a solid wall to you in this tunnel may not be necessarily what that looks like. These holograms can fool you into believing things. And they say that a lot of these domes are protected by holograms. A lot of these government areas, not just the dumps, that the government is utilizing holograms to cover up and protect a lot of things that they're doing.
Right.
And when you start to get into that section of it, you get into some really other freaky stuff. But do some research on the subways sometime. I'm talking about the subways that exist right now, like the New York and the London subways and all. There's some really, really freaky stuff. Not only paranormal ghost sightings and all that, but other weird stuff. Whenever you go underground, Carlito, God only knows what you're going to run into. There's no telling what's down there.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it could be anything from creepy animals. It could be, toxic gases. I mean, that can kill you. There's so many things that we don't know of that's underneath our feet. They're very, very toxic and deadly. Also, I wanted to bring up another point in Sedona, Arizona, going back to dumps. In Sedona, Arizona, they are going to build a very big military base underground as far down as 4.5 miles. That's crazy. That's a long way down. Now, how long have they been working on it? I don't know. Very dangerous, like you just mentioned, Dennis. We don't know what's down there. So imagine the things that they run into. You know, we can only imagine. But they make it happen, right? Because this is nothing new. This is not any type of news that's been going on for, I don't know, half a century now. I think maybe even more than that. Ever since Roswell back in the 50s, and I mean we know that they've been doing these secret type operations, especially in Area 51 and around that area, like Sedona, Arizona. That's Arizona. That's good ways from
I think there's an
Nevada,
Apache
from Area
reservation.
51. Right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Sedona, Arizona,
the
that's another
Sedona,
hotspot for that, for
yeah,
underground.
The Sedona dump facility that you're
Hmm.
talking about has been under construction for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
And they've only gotten about 8 floors down.
Hmm.
Well,
And
if you go deep enough with your dumb, you can tap into uh, thermo stuff there and have your own energy. You know, because
what if what if
eventually you're going to run into a thermo type thing situation. You can use a lot of that for your own energy purposes. Wouldn't even have to
yeah,
have nuclear.
yeah, absolutely. And they can even find type of coal, diamonds, uh, you know, all these type of elements that they can use in their advantage for energy,
Let me
for
tell you.
hyper energy.
Let me tell you something. Blow your mind, Carlito. This
Hmm.
is true. All the gold. I want you to think about this, man. This you mentioned gold, and there's a connection with the gold and Anunnaki too. Though.
Hmm.
But all the gold ever found, mined by
It's a
man,
superconductor.
all the gold ever would every bit of it together so far up until this point in time would fit on a football field with plenty of room to move around it. That's how much gold is left up under the ground.
Yeah.
There's no telling how much. We've only just scratched the surface
Hmm.
in our history of gold. Think about it.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. The gold miners back in the old west, mining rush, gold rush that they had, they just scraped the very top surface of it. Most of the gold is underground. That was just barely. That was just the dust that they found
Yep.
above
Yep.
ground. The real gold is down underground, real deep underground. That's where all the gold is just lying there, just waiting. But nobody but the government can escape that. That far down. So, what do you
That's
think, William?
fascinating stuff. But
Yeah.
like I say, it's kind of strange that they go on so much Native American land for this stuff and for the national parks. That's where you're liable to run into some of this stuff. I've heard many reports, case histories. I think one of it's called Devil's Canyon out in California, where they
Hmm.
actually went in a tunnel down there and they ran into that holograph thing, and these soldiers walked out of the wall. They walked out of the wall. It looked like a wall, but it wasn't a real wall. But they walked out of this wall and said, "What are you doing here? Get out of here!" Said we could shoot you. They won't never find your body down here. We'll get rid of it. They really threatened these guys not to come back. What are they hiding so much? I can understand if they're working on secret stuff and weapons and all that, but it just seems like they're going so far overboard to hide this stuff. Why?
Hmm.
What's so valuable that they're out?
Right.
Do
And,
that for.
and see, just like Rosie Alvarado just mentioned, the city of Teotihuacan, which I've been there, in Mexico City is the pyramids of Teotihuacan. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That held 7 tribes and disappeared. Yeah, and it's funny how they disappeared at the same time the Egyptians disappeared and the Mayans disappeared. It's funny how all those advanced civilizations disappeared off the face of the earth at the same time, right? And they all had similar technology. They all had similar knowledge. And if you know the Great Pyramid of Egypt and the pyramid of Teotihuacan in Mexico City, the sun pyramid, because all of it actually, it's the moon pyramid, the sun pyramid, and all that little, get together kind of looks like a little motherboard kind of thing, right? Going on with same thing with the Egyptians. They're the exact same thing, and they're aligned with Orion's belt. You look up Orion's belt and you see how they're formed. That's the same formation both the Mexico City ones and the Egyptian ones have.
The Egyptian pyramid.
Yeah.
But here's another thought about those tribes that disappeared. What if they were enslaved by underground civilizations? What if they were made, taken as slaves? That's where they disappeared to. Here's another thought, and we got to think about this too. And I've talked to William about this.
But I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt. Really, really quick. So it makes you think: how would they have the same coordinates from two different civilizations from across the world, like on the other side of the world? You know what I mean? Like both have the same coordinates to make their pyramids, because those pyramids are very precise with their coordinates. And they both have the exact same coordinates. The ones in Egypt and the ones in Mexico City. That's all the way across the world. How would they know that, right? It makes you think. Unless they had communication or the same help to build those pyramids. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, I think that a lot of these things could be coordinated with these underground civilizations. A lot of that stuff could have happened that way. To me, it makes perfect sense. These disappearances and all that. It's still going on to this day. If you were underground and you had a civilization, you would definitely have to have slaves to help you work. That would be the way you would go. You'd have your slave system, in other words, to mine for you and to do all the other things. Makes you wonder if that's what happened.
Right, exactly. What were you saying, William? I'm sorry. I think you were about to say something.
Well, I was just about to say, how about I throw a monkey in the wrench in the works here and in the spokes of your bicycles and make you all do an endo. But what about the whole time travel aspect of possibility of knowing what these alignments were on the pyramids? What if, say, somebody from, I don't know, the Third Reich might have used the Nazi belt to time travel and gone back in time before the United States military figured out what was going on?
That's a good possibility. The Nazis had a lot of scientific experiments and stuff going on with space travel and other things as well, and DNA, messing around, tinkering around with that. That would not have been another field they would have been interested in, definitely. Think what Hitler could have done if he could master time. We'd all be speaking German right now.
Yeah. But then again, so think about this also, guys, like we were talking about just a minute ago. If they dig deep enough and they find some type of, I don't know, superconductive river of flowing hot gold river, right? Because you heat up gold and it will melt, right? It turns into liquid, right? Mm-hmm. What if they find that down there? And we all know that gold is a superconductor. That's why it was used in the pyramids. That's why it's still found in the pyramids, because whatever ancient technology or advanced technology they had, they were using that gold for a reason, right? And I think it has to do something with the aliens and their spacecraft, and for them to get back or wherever they're going, or maybe they were harvesting the gold because they needed it. I don't know. But anyway, we know it's a superconductor. What if they find that underground and they can use that to shoot a vehicle, some type of special vehicle, through the ground, through that, river, as far as it goes, and they may be, on another side of the world, you know what I mean? Who's to say that they're doing that already and that we don't even know of, you know what I mean? That's just using your imagination a little bit.
Well, look how much gold we use in our own technology. for contacts and all that stuff. It's a
Chips.
perfect conductor.
Yeah, they use them for chips too and motherboards. Yeah, I know.
I would see why that would be interesting to an alien race. It would, be a boon to their technology.
Yeah, it's always made me wonder why gold. What's? I mean, I know it's a superconductor because a superconductor
Well,
helps you harvest power, a lot more faster than any other element. That's a superconductor. So why were they needing gold, right?
the original pyramids in Egypt were covered with a plaster. Remember hearing about that? They don't look like it do today. They actually had them. They were completely plastered.
Yeah.
And they said that the very top, the last.
Yeah, the last triangle.
The last one,
yeah, it was made out of gold.
Was made out of gold. Now.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be solid gold.
Yeah, solid gold. For what though, right? It makes you think, like, for what? I'm thinking that was some type of antenna, And I can even go as far as to say, and I've said it before, that I think the pyramids all around the world, you can go down in one, say Egypt, and boom, next second you're in Mexico, out of the pyramid in Mexico. And you go down from that one, next second you're out of a pyramid of China. So I think maybe they were all interconnected in the way that they can, travel through, kind of like, what was it? Kind of like portal to travel? Yeah.
It could have been communication. It could have been communication. It could also have been a power source. It could be a lot of different things that it was used for. If you go back to the story of Atlantis, what was the thing was in the very middle of Atlantis was what? A pyramid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you keep running into these pyramids everywhere.
Yeah. Even in Antarctica now, even in Antarctica, they got pyramids. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I think they were used as some type of power source type of deal, like a power plant kind of. And if you guys know this, there's been many videos and stories about people seeing UFOs charging in a storm where there's lightning and storm and all that, and they're just sitting there, just hovering right next to a cloud where all this storm is going on, and they're charging. So that to me tells me that it's they're charging off of electricity. Okay, now if you have a power plant in the pyramid, that's a charger. Basically, that's a charger at the very top. That's charging that aircraft or UFO, whatever you want to call it, mothership, whatever, charging that enough for it to get back to where it needs to go. Right?
And of course, like the movie Stargate, it could be used for interstellar travel as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, here's another interesting thing too, though. On the same lines as what Carlito was just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Take for instance all the UFOs being spotted over the Dome of the Rock in Israel. The gold. The gold
dome.
The rock.
Yeah, you're right. And there's been multiple sightings of UFOs over that thing, man. Multiple, not just one. I've seen like 2 or 3 of them, and I'm pretty sure there's more. But yeah, they like to just go like say, hey, this is the dome, right? My microphone, and they just like to come down and stop, boom, right there, and just hover there for I don't know how long, whatever. And then next thing you know, they're gone. They flash a little light before they leave. They go, boom, gone.
They're disconnecting from whatever charge they're getting off the gold.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Just like basically sometimes when you plug in a lamp cord into a wall outlet and you get that little type of a spark, if the connection's, not too good. So, same thing.
That's the way it used to be in your old automobile car. You had a condenser that sparked it. I remember I had an old Dodge Duster one time, and the little condenser ran. It was like what, $5. That thing would not crank without it because it sparked. That's what sparked the generator.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
So
and going back to the dumbs, um, there's 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 myth of them building, and also I wanted to add that I think all the engineering, bioengineering, reverse engineering that goes on there from down UFOs from the past. That's where they get their advanced technology from. We all know that. I think all that happens underground. It's not really over, like the base where you see the barracks and you see and you see like tents. You see a couple of domes or whatever. They don't do anything out in the open. I don't think because I'm pretty sure they think that maybe some drone or some plane or somebody's going to see them, and they don't. They do everything underground. If you notice, the only time you see anything go above ground is because they want people to see it, and or because they're testing flying the said craft, right? Special advanced craft like the TRB, right? TR3B. They call it a
3B.
TREB. 3B, yeah. And it's like a triangle. It's a very, very advanced flying aircraft that's man-made, but it looks like a UFO, right? So I think that's where they do their, test pilot, flying it and whatever, around the base or whatever. But that's it. But all the actual technology being, enhanced and built and everything goes on underground. Okay, so there's this one also besides the TR3B. There's another one. There's actually 4 prototypes that I looked into. There's four prototypes of a transatmospheric vehicle. This means that this can go into space. Okay, from straight, no shuttle, no nothing. Just go straight into space, and it's called the Aurora project. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. Well, there's 4. Yeah, okay. Well, there's 4 prototypes of those. That they're working on. They got this Aurora A, Aurora B, Aurora C, Aurora D, and an Aurora C, right? Whatever. And these vehicles go up to 2.7, close to 3 Mach, or more. No, I'm sorry, Mach 3 or Mach 4 is what they do. Is how fast they go. Okay, but after you pass up Mach 2.7 is in speed, the elements in the air catch fire. Like all the vehicle itself catches fire after 2.7 Mach. Okay, so they have to have some type of force field against that. So that's how advanced they are. That they have this force field around the craft where it won't catch fire going over 2.7 Mach. You know what I mean? So Mach 3 or 4, without burning up, it would be around 30 or 40,000 degrees. 30 or 40,000 degrees hot to be Mach 3 or 4. So imagine, how advanced their technology is. So their technology, our new technology is their old technology. The government's old technology. That's what it is. They're at least 100, years ahead of us, public, or more. What do you think, Will?
like I said, Carlito, 40 years ago, they had satellite technology that could read the headlines of the newspaper in Moscow. 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. Think like that's what they got now.
Think about exactly. You guys remember? Yeah. I know you two guys do, because I know I do, and I'm younger than both of y'all. So, do you guys remember that AT&T commercial way back in the early '80s, where there was a guy in the beach with the laptop, and they showed the damn laptop on the commercial? We're like, what the hell is that? Right? We all just knew about those big computers, about this wide, home PCs, right? And this guy had this little flat thing, just like our laptops now, on the beach, in a chair, whatever, doing a meeting where he was doing what we're doing right now, like, having a meeting through the camera, watching him and he's watching them on the screen. Oh, we're doing, but this was in the early '80s, guys. You remember that? And that was AT&T. Yeah, and they said, "Do you imagine?" Yeah, they said, "Do you imagine being out in the beach, having taking your vacation, and being attending a meeting at the same time? Well, you will be, and who's gonna bring it to you? AT&T. You know what I mean? Like, what? That shit was crazy back then, and now we actually have it. But they knew about it since way back then, and it wasn't even introduced to the public yet when they had those.
Have you seen the new cell phones that they're experimenting with? They're a button, and you clip them on your shirt, and you can answer your phone on your hand. You can see the screen on your hand. You don't have a screen to look at anymore. You don't have to hold it up. You don't have to. You can talk to it. You can answer the phone on your hand. You can text with it with your finger on your hand.
Right.
Wild stuff.
Yeah.
They're getting to the point. Here's what bothers me though. They're getting to the point where there's a blend of biology and technology.
Yeah.
We are bound to become like the $6 million man. Remember him? Probably called for that.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
But that's what we're turning into. Androids. Okay. Yeah. That's what we're going into.
What you're talking about, Dennis, is the old Iron Man movie where he was looking at his hand as a computer and touching his hand and putting it up on a computer screen in his living room. So
but that's where they can actually do that. I mean, that's a real thing now.
Yeah.
And they have a suspended screen in xenomist, they call it. It can be in the air in front of you. And a beam shoot it up there in the air in front of you. You can actually touch it, manipulate it.
Yeah, screen up in the hologram screen, yeah. Yeah, fully functional hologram screen, yes. Yeah, they have that already. What we see in the movies with all these people touching in the air and all, they already have that. Yeah. They pretty much show us everything in the movies that exists in this world. But they don't tell you, but it's there. They put it in our faces. All the movies. Yep. All the movies have a certain, truth to it.
I think, somebody said, but what is this Hollywood code thing here? Why are they trying to tell us? We see all this stuff in movies, and then they show up in real life.
Yeah.
But I think what it is, a lot of it is the writers have inside information on this stuff. You got to do your research. If you're going to write something, you're going to write a movie or a play or whatever you're writing, you got to do your research. And I think these guys are good at that. That's what they get paid millions of dollars for. They're good at it, but they got inside information that we don't have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think our next move into cell phones may be just like a type of watch where you could just push a button and it'll pop up a little thing up right up on top of it. Yeah, a little screen up in the air, holographic screen or whatever, and you just go like this, call whatever you want to do, boom, boom, and we finish, hang up, and that's it, and it's on your watch. You know what I mean? Because look at the advanced technology there is on our watches now. On the new watches.
That's what this one I'm telling you about does. It's a little button that you just clip on your shirt here, and it puts that screen in your hand. So put that hand in, and you can do what you want to with it.
Exactly.
I think they like that on your hand better than in the air because nobody can see it if you want to hide your hand.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I actually said like maybe 20 years ago, I said, watch. Next thing they're gonna do, they're gonna make a watch where it's gonna replace your phone. Now it hasn't replaced completely our phone because we still need our phone, but our watch, I can make a call on my watch, and just say Siri, call so and so. They'll make a call. I can barely hear them because it's a little speaker, but I can use that to communicate with somebody on my watch. And I called that 20 years ago, and it's happening.
Dick Tracy had that back in the 1930s. Remember that?
Yeah.
Dick Tracy.
I was just gonna say that, Dennis. You beat me to it.
Yeah, man, and
A lot of the younger people out there don't know who Dick Tracy is.
Oh, let's see. There
oh,
was.
yeah.
Let's see. There was a couple questions.
I saw a couple of good comments on there. If you want to bring them up, William, I saw a couple of people, talking about what we were talking about.
I can't wear a watch. Battery die too fast. Well, some people have higher electrical fields in them than other people. They say that's true, and that they're the ones that create more static electricity in the winter too. By the way, that does something to the batteries and watches and stuff like that.
Right. Now, what do you guys think? What do you guys think
Juno.
about UFO?
Juno, this is my brother Juno here. He's right there in Dolce.
Dolce? Wow.
Yeah.
Now that would be the ventilation system. Yeah, it would definitely would give them away. Definitely. Yeah, that's what I would be looking for if I were looking for an underground base. You look for the ventilation. You got to have a ventilation system, or you die.
Oh yeah, that's a must. But I think it's artificial ventilation. I don't think it's natural.
It could be for other reasons that we don't know about. But that's the one thing I've heard about that on the Mesa, that they found thermal ducts and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzy Sue says capstones could have been used for free energy devices worldwide, even churches. That would make sense with the steeples on churches.
Yeah.
Well, steeples were always made out of metal, those crosses and steeples.
Right. You know what? As a kid, I'm glad you guys brought that up.
Supposedly on kind of lightning,
Yeah. I always used to think when I was little, like watching looking at the churches, why they had that thing at the very top. You know what I mean? And it's always like a dome or a triangle, and then it's got that cross going up, right? And it looks like an antenna. If you look at it, if you think about it, it looks like an antenna. I'm like, I wonder why all the churches have that at the very highest point, and it looked like an antenna, but it's a cross. I always wondered that as a kid. I was like, why they do that? Do y'all know anything about that?
In Russia and in Arabia, they have those domes. Architecture. I've studied architecture for a long, long time. It's fascinating. Right. And the interesting thing about it, Carlito, it seems here's the folklore-like part of it. Whenever you put anything on top, like a steeple or like you're talking about the minarets and all that, it was like your connection to God, kind of a thing, to the heavens. That's what you were doing, and that's where that kind of comes in at. That's the part of architecture. But like it could have been used for other things too, like I say, for lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some kind of surcharge from a lightning or something. I mean.
Found it, grounding.
Yeah.
Now the capstones on the pyramids were a completely different thing. In that aspect, they were made out of complete gold, and supposedly that was, I think, to focus in energy more or less and output on it. In other words, that's what it was kind of supposed to be for. Let me tell you a quick experiment that I did my own self years ago, and I heard about this. Okay, you can make your own little pyramid made up out of cardboard or whatever, and then you can put razor blades in it, old razor blades, and leave them in there for so long. I forget now, like a week or something, and take the razor blades out, and they would be sharp again. So what is it about the shape of a pyramid that funnels energy?
Right.
Interesting.
And do you guys know what the story is on the missing top pieces of the pyramids. I've heard that they were stolen because they were made out of gold. Do y'all know exactly what happened to that?
Yeah, that's what I heard. They were stolen.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a lot of weight of gold to try and steal, though.
Yeah, I think they might have just cut them up into pieces to get it. They couldn't get the whole thing out of there.
I
That's
don't know,
huge.
solid gold. You know what
Yeah,
kind of temperature you'd need to cut that up in pieces?
yeah, that's true. Well, you
Those
would need like
capstones were probably as big as a house.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's just mind blowing. All the things that go on in the world and that we don't know of. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and we
Well,
just
I call it, they like coal shack on us. They're covering up a lot of stuff, and they're very good at covering up stuff. And it's not only to say their own bust, but to keep control of what it is they're doing. That's the main thing. And there's a whole lot of that going on in this world around us. And who knows what? I mean, if we could really knew what's going on, it'd probably freak us out. We probably end up in mental ward somewhere if we
yeah,
really knew everything that was going on. But like I said, and I said this on a program we had the other day, even the president doesn't know what's going on. Okay, no one man does know exactly what's going on. The bureaucracy works best when it's in secrecy.
yes. And you know what? You made a very good point too, Dennis. I think if somebody knew exactly what was going on all around the world, they would go crazy because they couldn't take it. You see what I mean? So sometimes it is better not to know because you're ignorant. That's why the saying ignorance is bliss because you're better off that way. And that's what a lot of people choose, not to learn the truth because they're like, no, I know, whatever, you might be right, but I don't want to know it. I have a good life and I don't want to know anything else. You know what I mean? And they're just, how do you say? They're just, like shit, what's the word here, guys? Complacent. They're just complacent with their ordinary world, ordinary life, and they think they got it, good
Well,
enough, and that's it. They don't want to learn anything else.
it's kind of like that philosophy: what you know won't hurt you, but that's not really true.
Yeah,
What
that
you
is
know,
true.
what you don't know could really get you in the end if you're not careful.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely. And that's why, people like us, we're brave enough to want to learn the truth, whatever it may be. And that's how Nighthawk, William is, I am, you are, and a bunch of my,
and that
cryptid buddies. They want to know
that
the
makes
truth.
us public enemy number one with those guys
Yep.
because we want to know the truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Rosie wants
That's
to
what
know the truth, too. So.
I
well,
want to know.
and I would rather know a big black bear was coming after me than sit there with my head in the sand, okay,
Mm-hmm.
with my butt hanging out for him to get. I'd rather see him coming. I'd rather see him coming so I could do something about it, maybe, or at least run.
Yeah.
But some people don't like it that way. Some people would rather not know. But here's the interesting thing, and I said this not long ago. Okay, the things that we do know are far outweighed by the things that we don't know, and that's what I question. What we don't know. We already know this. We maybe know that. We can maybe have a handle on something. But what's out there that we don't know? That's what kind of makes me sleepless at night. You know, what we don't know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, if everybody could please like, heart, and share this out as much as you can, that would be greatly appreciated. Follow us on YouTube and or subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, basically all of them.
Everywhere.
Heck,
Hey,
yeah.
what's that new YouTube type platform? Is that Rumble?
The YouTube?
No, the similar to YouTube. What's that platform? That new one? Is that Rumble?
Well, Rumble's been around a while. There's Truth Social that's out there too,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good one because you can speak your mind and not be censored. Um,
Okay.
and then, of course, Rumble's a good one for speaking your mind and not being censored.
Okay.
And Twitch is okay.
It's
Twitch,
okay too. Yeah, they don't censor you too much. Yeah.
yeah, well, they do, but they don't. You know what I mean? It's one of them hits or misses. But and then Twitter is another good one that right now that I like using. So because some of these subject matters are real sensitive that YouTube and Facebook don't like. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there might be some times
It
where we'll have to
almost.
err on the others just so
Yeah.
we don't get censored.
It almost seems like YouTube is like in cahoots with Facebook, doesn't it? Because they censor the exact same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of podcasts out there that don't like to talk about sensitive stuff, but yet I see podcasts out there that have over 20,000 subscribers that are able to talk about whatever they want to talk about and not get censored.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
more subscribers you got, the more bumper you got with them. The more protection you got.
yeah,
It's the ones that don't have very many subscribers are open season to them.
that'd
Really?
be me.
I would think it'd be the other way around though, because the more followers you have, the more you getting the truth out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it should
And
be.
they
It
they
should
wouldn't
be.
like that, right? Right. Yeah. And
Look
the
what
little
they
guppies, they wouldn't worry about.
look what they did to our channel before.
The more subscribers you got, the more people would complain. See, and so that's why they shy away from messing with them too much. But the ones that don't have that many subscribers, they can push around all they want.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were at one time working on almost 1,000 subscribers, and they kicked us off, and we had to redo it all over again.
Oh
So,
man. Gosh, man, this sucks, man. I was wondering because I seen that the other day, William. I said, how does William only have 260 something? I was like, I thought he had more than that, you know? But I forgot
yeah,
about that, what you said, that they reset the whole thing and they kicked you off. Yeah.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
That's why I
Wow.
keep telling people to check to make sure you resubscribe because
Yeah.
they unsubscribed everybody.
Right.
You know,
But that's
they
like
removed
we had an
our other
issue.
platform.
We had an issue the other day with Messenger. It was putting a lot
Yeah.
of us out on chat for no reason.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
and the Messenger is owned by Facebook, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Yeah.
the whole thing with that's why I went with Signal for a private chat group because Messenger censor a lot of stuff, and they're kicking people out of chat and out of Messenger and all kinds of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, they never play fair. They know how to play dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just looking at
why
me to
don't you,
censor.
Carlito? Why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and where they can catch your podcasts and stuff?
Oh yeah. Thank you, William. Yeah, you guys can find me on Facebook. On my group is Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom with Tom and Carlito, and you can also find me at on my group North American Dogman Project Region 4. I'm a director there. And on YouTube, you can find me on my channel, which is Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom, with Carlito and Tom. That's the only channel I have as of yet. I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe expanding or changing my channel to something else. I don't know. Because
You can
I've
always
been
join us.
noticing. Yeah. Because I've been noticing the cryptid community they like more of a like scary tale, scary story. You know,
Yeah, they
whether it
like
be true or
that.
not, they love that. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen people that just started and have like maybe 15,000 subscribers. Every video they put up, which is made up fake stories, they have like 2,000, 5,000 views. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, well, I guess people just like the scare factor and the scary stories of whatever. And they put a dog man on their thumbnail and all that. I'm like, I guess people just like that, even though they might even think it's not real,
Dog
but they
man,
still like it.
dog,
Yeah.
dog man ate my girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. To whereas me, my buddy Thomas Cardos, Shane, from West Coast, we try to have interviews of real encounters from real
Exactly.
people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the real. That's excuse my French, but that's the real shit that you need to look into. Not these fucking stories, made up stories, and they bring two or three out a week. You know what I mean? Anybody can do that if they have their time off to do that. To do that,
Well,
but we try to bring the
Carlito,
truth out, and we're not
some,
trying to bullshit people. We're trying to bring them the real deal. I'm
some
sorry. Go
people
ahead,
blur
Dennis.
some people blur the lines between fiction and nonfiction. You know, but I always call them case histories. That's what I always go by, the case histories, the
Yeah.
reports, the sightings of real people, not the made up thing.
Yes, exactly, and that's what we do. Me, Shane, Thomas, and a couple other friends of ours in the cryptid community. But man, like Shane says, yes, brother, it really hurts the community. The field, the cryptid field. All these made up
Yeah.
stories on these other channels, man. It's like it's so
Yeah.
overwhelming now.
It's okay. I got you covered, Carlito. Look at the parental advisory in the corner.
Okay, okay, good. I like that. Okay, I'm safe. Safe.
Uh,
Yeah, man. But that's where you can find that's where you can find me. My good buddy Shane over at West Coast Dogman Project. Shout out to him, as well as Thomas Cardos at North Carolina Cryptid and Paranormal Project.
yeah,
Shout out to
Tom's at
him.
the beach.
Yeah, shout out to them, my bros. You know what I mean. So that's why I'm giving them a shout out. But yeah, that's where you can find us if you really want to see anything on real eyewitnesses and real encounters. If you're tired of the bullshit stories from other uh, channels that make up
Yep, I
stories and just
agree.
have two, three, four, five a week, I've seen is like, wow, that's crazy. But anyway,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, that's what we do, and
There,
we
there's
do it for the love of it. Hmm.
there's people out there that would make really good book authors. That have a lot of these channels.
Hmm.
Um, for some of the stories they tell. The
Yeah.
one that I get a kick out of, and it is, and I'm not going to name it by name, but
Right.
they
Of
do a
course.
lot. They do a lot of, like you said, the pictorials of these monsters and stuff. Like I can show you some of the pictorials that they like to use
Yeah,
if
hey,
you want
and
to
they
see
do an awesome
some.
job. I'm not gonna lie, they do an awesome job. But it's all stories. It's all made up stories, man. If that's what you
Yep.
like, then. And that's what I see that most of the people like, man, on YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good picture, whatever the hell that is. Image. It's pretty good, man. I like that lighting. Yeah, I like that lighting too,
Yeah,
man. That's awesome.
yeah.
I look like
You
that when I
know, I
wake up.
mean,
Yeah. But those are great for eye catchers for stories. You put that on a thumbnail and say so and so had a story out of Tennessee. Out of so and so park, which is bullshit, but they just put it up there and they just narrate it, and people
yeah,
are just eating it up. Thousands of views,
yeah,
hundreds of likes. And crazy, man.
yeah. And then there's just guys like us who put up the boring stuff. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And we're over here trying to fighting to get to 1,000 subscribers, man. It's like I've been on what, like 897 for the past month, bro. It's like that's crazy. It's like maybe one or two subscribers. That's just crazy. That's insane. But anyway,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little ridiculous. It really is. Dennis, why don't you
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and tell people how they can get a hold of you and where they can see you at?
Yeah, you can get a hold of me at my website, denniswcarroll.com. You can also find the link there to my books on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I'm working on another book right now. It's going to be called Things of Nightmare. The doorways are open. I'm working on that for the next edition I want to come out with. Also, I have another program that I do Sunday nights at 9 o'clock p.m. With Grizzly Chris. It's Demonology Today, and it's going to be a good one this Sunday. It's going to be called The Church of Apollyon, the one world religion of the Antichrist. So it's going to be an interesting show. And if you want to give me any of your sightings, real ones, that you want to share with me, you can reach me at ghostwolfdc@gmail.com.
Yep, and I'm gonna put my my email out in the chat here before I log off. And also, while I'm doing that, I'm gonna play a because Dennis and I started a new podcast at midnight, and it's gonna air on the first and third Wednesday at midnight. And I'm gonna play the intro for that while I type my email out on the comment section of the chat. So.
Nice.
A lot of monsters at midnight.
Yeah, that's nice, man. That was a good little video you put together there. You know what? I've been thinking I kind of need something like that for an intro, man, and an outro for my show. So I guess I'm gonna have to get with you on that, William.
Yeah, it's just one app, and I'll put it out there because I put it out there every time I come on because we claim fair use of any and all music too and advertising. But Splice is the app that I use for that, and it's completely free, which is why I use it. So,
wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's called Splice, so it's fairly easy to use. I've gotten a little better at it, but it's not. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how to actually use it. And you know, somebody that I think very highly of with a lot of this graphic imaging and stuff for podcasting is our little brother there on the
Yeah,
West
Shane.
Coast there. He knows
Yeah,
his name.
yeah, it's our little
He
bro.
does a lot of that good stuff, you know.
I know.
So
I like his intro too. I like his intro
yeah,
too when he
yeah,
does the
he's got a
show.
good one. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's the new intro for the new show that we've got. And
Hell
this
yeah.
week, this next Midnight's Monsters on this, I think it's the 7th of June, is the next one that's scheduled at midnight, and it's going to be about the rake. So it's
Ooh,
going to be a good one. So,
cool.
but and I put my email out in the chat, so if anybody ever needs to report anything or have advice and stuff on sightings, feel free to hit me up through my email,
Hmm.
lakotaman333 at gmail.com. Also, tomorrow morning I'm going to kind of be absent. Um, Dennis and Gerald are going to take over the morning spot for me. Because I got something I definitely have to do tomorrow, and it's related to health and everything that's going on with me. So I definitely need to take care of that tomorrow. So, but I'll be back on Sunday for the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew, and then Dennis and Gerald will be doing the morning broadcast tomorrow morning. Um, and Dennis, you don't even have to wait for a login. You could actually just go right to StreamYard and log in, right, like you own it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Next week, I don't know. Carlito, are we going to be doing these conspiracy theories every Friday night, or do you want to alternate them too?
I like Friday nights. You mean alternate them as in every week or every 2 weeks or
Yeah, yeah,
what do you
whatever
mean?
you think. I mean, if we can keep on going with conspiracy theories, that's fine with me. So
Yeah.
I got a whole
Well,
list of them.
I think we got plenty of them right now to go every week if you wanted to.
Okay.
We'll cover like we did
Yeah,
tonight. We'll cover two topics, two subjects. You
yeah,
know,
kind of got
two
the
or two
yeah,
or three. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'd say two or three, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah,
I'd kind of like to get into the whole MK Ultra thing next Friday.
we can.
Um,
We
I,
can.
I don't, I don't, even if we use that for one of the three,
Right.
um,
Right.
I
Exactly.
think that's a very interesting subject, and we kind of touched on it tonight with
Yeah.
the Arcturian type of mind control
Mm-hmm.
type of thing, and the reptoid, kind of thing, where they try to put thoughts in your head. Um,
Right.
but there's a lot of stuff that the CIA and stuff has done on us, and our own government has done on us research wise and secret program wise, that we're going
Mm-hmm.
to be getting into a lot of it. So, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd really like to do the MK Ultra thing, to
Yeah.
be
We can
one
do
of
that,
them. And
man.
then we'll figure out what the other two are. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
All right. Well,
We'll
everybody in the
discuss
chat,
that.
thank you very much for being here. It's been a long, long day and a long, long night, and we've been here 2 hours. And
You
time
see
to
what
go.
did you see
Time,
what our
time.
little bro said? William,
What's
did you
that?
see what our little bro said at the very end? He says, Nighthawk, I love seeing Dennis, Carlito, and you every Friday. Better than Vic, LOL. Oh my god.
Oh man.
It's true, man. I kind of gave up. I kind of gave up on Vic already, bro. I told Shane that, man. Like for the past, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 months, bro. It's been like nothing but like shitty shows, bro. It's not like it used to be, man. 5, 6 years ago, there used to be some
Yeah.
crazy shows, but no, it's been kind of meh. The
Yeah.
past 6 months, bro. It's like, man,
He's getting
I
he's
just
getting his he's getting like what's that other one? Scary Stories NYC.
Yeah. Oh man, it's crazy. Thank you for that, Shane. Appreciate you, appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. That made my night, man. They gave us a good laugh. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for being out here tonight, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
you
great
know,
time. I
we
had a great time.
appreciate everybody being here.
Yeah.
Anita, Raven Creek Charms, Shane, just everybody out there. You know, we appreciate everybody. My wife Tracy, Ozzy, Sue, um, Joey Z. Let's see who else we have out there. We had War Criminal 7. We had let's see, we had Freaky Geek. We had, let's see, we had me. We had Rosie. Can't forget old Rosie there. Rosie Alvarado.
Overbuilt Automotive was in there for a while too.
Yeah. Yep, Overbuilt. Yeah. And
thank you all for the support, man. We love doing this for y'all, man. We love conspiracy theories.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
Shane knows.
We're gonna keep coming back at them until they.
Yeah, Shane knows all about the conspiracy theories that I love. Yeah. Until they shut us down. There you go. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna go as far as they let us.
Everybody can please like. Yeah. So awesome. Okay, everybody. We will see you all in. I guess Dennis and Gerald. We'll see you all next Friday. I'll see you all this coming Sunday, and then Gerald and Dennis will see you all in the morning. So unless Carlito wants to join them, it's at the early hour.
Oh man, I'm not a morning person, man. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm more of a night owl. Anytime you want to, record something, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, up to 12 o'clock, I'm good. Yeah, man, but I'm not a morning person.
Exactly. Thank you guys. Thank you all for the chat. You guys, we love you in the chat. Stay strong, stay safe, and question everything, okay?
Yes.
We'll see you all later.
Everything. All right. See you guys later.